Welcome to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by Haven, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Haven Hubcast. I'm your host, Nancy Sheed, and I am here today speaking with Beth Leas. Beth, welcome to the Haven Hubcast.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
Excited to dive in. For those of you who are not familiar with Beth, she is coming to our Haven community by way of being a co-sponsor of the Haven Health Summit. And so thank you for doing that. But also, more importantly, she is here as the founding partner of TribeTLC. Beth, can you give us a little background on TribeTLC? Sounds like it could be a lot of things. You're coming to us from sort of the healing and healers world. Walk us through what TribeTLC is.
So TribeTLC is a healthy living resource filled with 180 plus holistic practitioners and wellness entrepreneurs. And we started in Fairfield County in 1997. And now we are throughout Westchester County, New York, Fairfield County, most of Connecticut, and also beyond.
Wow. Okay. So much to unpack there. But before we go into where, in 1997, let's go a little bit before that. I always like to hear people hear the story of, okay, where were you before that? Were you in the healing space before that? Did something happen to you that required you to sort of learn more about healing? Were you in corporate and fed up? I just always sort of love hearing what was going on before you took this path.
Yes, and yes. So I grew up in a very challenging household, and I started my healing journey when I was 15. I discovered meditation and found it to be super impactful in alleviating the side effects of PTSD. And then fast forward to my late 20s, I was working for an entrepreneur doing all the backup singing. He was doing all the marketing and sales. I was doing all the customer service and interfacing with accountants and lawyers, and found it incredibly soul-sucking, and decided that I needed to do something that was more in line with like who I was. And I was pretty crunchy granola-y.
I love that you say crunchy granola. My husband says that. He goes, crunchy granola. And then he goes, those people that knit their own yogurt. And I'm like, I'm sure that's not politically correct for us to be saying these days, but if you said it first, I'm going to go with it. So I love that. So wait, I also want to clarify. You said backup singing, or is that your way of saying I was doing all the back end crap?
Yeah, that's backup singing. I don't like being on the front lines. I like being the backup singer.
I was like, all right, she's a singer as well? That's fascinating.
Just an introvert.
I love that. And holy moly, to discover meditation at 15, if only we all could have. At least we didn't have phones back then, but that would have been extremely helpful. So, I'm going to put us back then in 1997, just a mere 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago. Yes, people got massages, or yes, people knew about acupuncture and chiropractic. And okay, maybe meditation. We maybe did our yoga. I'm not even sure Pilates was around. That is a very brave leap for you to make. Did you sort of, when you made this decision, was like, I know these modalities work, so I want to help other people do it? Did you know, was there training? You were making a leap kind of into the unknown or into the unfamiliar for most of us.
Yeah,
what did that look like?
So in 1990, I discovered Reiki. I knew that working that job was not for me, and I needed something bigger. And I didn't know what Reiki was. It was before the interwebs.
Exactly.
It was back in the dark ages. And so somebody suggested I take a Reiki class, and I had no idea what it was, but I had this knowing by the end of that class that I was going to become a Reiki Master, and that's what I should be doing. And so that was in 1990, and I dove into it and started seeing people out of my spare bedroom and loved it. And as an introvert, I loved seeing people in my house. That was awesome. But I also had a pretty quick realization that I could have a greater impact in the world if I put myself out there rather than waiting for people to come to me.
And at that point, are you still side hustling? Or, was that kind of in the, as you said, was that a side hustle, side gig while you were still doing the other soul sucking work? Or at what point did you sort of,
No, I
as you
just
say,
dove into it.
okay.
My boss actually came to me and said, after 8 years, that he didn't need me anymore. And so I said, well, I guess this is the universe.
Wow. Okay.
Throwing me out of the nest.
I got it. All right. So not even that, like no sort of offboarding into corporate and onboarding into your side hustle. You went full in to the side hustle. And at that point, also, you mentioned you're an introvert. You mentioned you're a healer. Entrepreneur and business person typically is not what people used to, I'm going to say that used to, associate with another title. Did you suddenly realize you had to become your own business person, or how did you integrate that, having your business experience, but also it sounds like being extremely intuitive and a healer and an introvert? How did you bring all those together?
Well, I feel like working for this company really helped me understand a lot about business that I didn't understand. I don't think that that's really my wheelhouse, but I felt like I learned a lot about how to run a business. And I knew that working out of my spare bedroom was great, but I had a lot of clients at that time. Probably 90% of my practice was people living with life-challenging illnesses. It was during the AIDS crisis. A lot of people living with big labels, MS, lots of things. So I was referring my clients to other practitioners. And I was like, isn't it kind of strange that there's like no holistic health center around, like where lots of practitioners hang out and learn from one another, and also that the clients can go from one practitioner to another. So I started a holistic health center in 1997 in Norwalk.
And that was it at that point called the Tribe?
It was called TLC Center.
It was called the TLC Center. Okay. And so we're getting you out of the second bedroom. It sounds like there was a physical location. And so suddenly you now are also a business development person. What was that like in terms of moving into the solo world, into the like, okay, this is a collaborative effort? Was there a business plan in place? Did you need to... I thought I'd ask. Did you, when you said you were referring people out, I would assume, like I do, you have a handful of people that you confidently refer out. So did you reach out kind of to your network and say, hey, what would happen if we all brought this together?
Yes, I did. I sent letters out. I made phone calls. I was just like, yay, what do you think about doing a holistic health center? Would you be interested in renting space? What do you think about a community like that? And it grew pretty fast. And early on, we realized that we needed to create a membership. I needed to create a membership because a lot of people want to be involved when there's no skin in the game.
Yes. So I love it. Business by necessity. So in terms of, I want to continue that direction in terms of membership, you meant the practitioner's membership.
That's
or
right.
It wasn't a membership model for your patients. It was a membership model for the people to actually be in the collective, so to speak.
Right.
Got it. And, we were talking before we started recording, again, 1997, we're still not quite pre-interwebs, but a little bit, right? And the world is still looking a little more traditional. Well, we can't say that. Let me go back. Reiki and massage and acupuncture and all of these practices that it sounds like you've brought into your collective, they were very much sideline modalities back then. I know there were some true believers, but on the whole, saying to somebody, you should be doing Reiki once a week, the majority of the population would look at you like you were crazy or think you were a little out there.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So how did you either, I won't say fight that, was it a re-education process, or was it literally the transformative powers of your work or the collective's work that your patients and clients just sort of did the selling for you?
Well, I think One of the principles that I founded TribeTLC on is the light of a single candle burns brighter in a gathering.
Mm.
And I've always had this belief that when you stand together with people and you're doing good and you're shining your light out into the world, you can have a great impact.
Mm.
And so I think that's what the center became. It became a community gathering place. We did lots of events, open houses, experiential days, things like that. And people started to see those things and want more of it. I think when we were all hiding in our spare bedrooms, it was harder not to, I mean, it was easier not to see.
I see. So you were sort of, to your point, with the candle and or bringing it out into the light. And also, I'm assuming having amazing either healing journeys or recovery journeys or transformative experiences that people could go and say, you need to go to Tribe TLC. You need to see my friend Beth.
Right.
As opposed to you having to do a lot of marketing. What's changed in your 30 years in terms of from what it looked like when you started to where we are now, where I hope is a little more open to different healing modalities? What else has changed in terms of how you do business, in terms of the customers and clients, in terms of the type of work you do? I'm sure there's so much.
Yeah, a lot has changed. There's a lot more support of holistic modalities for sure, and just in the general population. I think people are recognizing that traditional medicine doesn't have all the answers. We had the Holistic Health Center in Norwalk for 20 years. And I honestly, I'm a reluctant leader.
I'm going to pull that out of the show notes. How to operate when you're a reluctant leader. I think a lot of us are like that.
Yeah, I feel like supporting holistic practitioners and being better business people became my purpose because I knew I could have a greater impact in the world, as I knew there were a lot of holistic practitioners who are really great at what they do, but they're not great business people.
No.
They just need support and help and guidance in being better business people. And I always felt like I was a few steps ahead of most of those holistic practitioners. So do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But I could share with them what I knew. And so after 20 years of having that practice and building the community there, we lost our lease. And I felt like I was at a place where I needed to really look at, do I want to sign a 5-year commercial lease down the street? Or what do I want to do? Like, this is a moment to just take a nice deep breath and decide, what's your vision, instead of just going on automatic pilot. And I knew that managing a space was not what fed my soul.
That's an important discovery. I mean, and that's a whole nother skill set in terms of space, rent, people.
Yeah.
Functioning utilities, right?
Yeah. And
security, etc.
Exactly. And creating community was and is like dear to my heart and feeds my soul. But I did not have the vision about how I could still have the community without the physical space. And so I decided it was more important for me to stop the madness and just let the universe fill in the blank.
Nice. Is that also conveniently coinciding with COVID?
It was a little pre-COVID. So it was 2017 when I closed the center.
Got it.
And somebody from Westchester County. Oh, and so the holistic practitioner started saying, well, could we meet in this restaurant, or could we meet in my office in a different town? And I'm like, sure. And as that happened, the energy of the group grew and expanded because we weren't location specific anymore. And it was beautiful to see how more people were coming together and how more connections were being made. And then somebody from Westchester County in 2018 suggested that I open do a Tribe TLC in Westchester. And I was like, oh.
I'd love to.
Like, fuck you very much. Yeah. So we did that. And that was pre-COVID. And then COVID came. And then I was like, wow, well, I'm not going to stop meeting in person, but people are longing to do this in a safer way and to do it online. So we pivoted to online networking also. So now we do both. And that just grew and expanded our connections with people geographically. Yeah. And then we just kept growing and expanding.
And to understand your business model now, Beth, you're sort of more there to support, if I'm understanding you correctly, support the holistic practitioners and bring them together. This is less about having an operations, a business that brings in clients and then sends them around. Is that what I'm hearing? Sort of people are all doing their business themselves. They're meeting each other. They're knowing who are other people they can refer to. You are a one-stop shop if somebody, i.e. me, wants to know like who to work with. But your true client is now the holistic practitioners for the most part.
That's right.
Got it. I just wanted to understand, so when you said you had a center, it wasn't necessarily a place where people were coming to as clients come to. Maybe they were office spaces, but
they were. We had a big space with workshop spaces and 7 practitioner rooms.
Got it. But now it's really because we've all learned to kind of how to function autonomously, not necessarily in our bedrooms, as you said you used to do, but you're still creating that community spirit without having to have the physical space. And as you said, helping people who aren't necessarily business people be able to grow and thrive and grow bigger and better.
Exactly.
I love that model. Love it, love it, love it. And that's a nice segue into how did you discover Haven, or how did Haven discover you? Because as you know, one of the pillars of Haven is health, wellness, and well-being. So how did that connection come around?
I discovered Haven, I believe it was through Kristen Raza, who's been a member of TLC forever and ever.
Nice.
Since I had the Holistic Health Center. And so she introduced me to Haven, and I love that community. I love the whole community. The community is awesome.
We do too. We do too. And it's been, again, fun to sort of see how Haven's pillars have evolved, in this health and wellness space, and in its own way being supportive to this community, like in a different way, but similar to how you have been. I'm curious, so whether you're a holistic practitioner or you're somebody who feels like you need holistic services, how do people find you or reach out to you? What's the best way to connect?
We have a website, TribeTLC.com.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Okay, awesome. And we will put that in the show notes. And not sure when this is going to air. It might be before or after the Health Summit. But please, for those of you who are interested in kind of meeting the Haven community in its health space, look out for, and I'll also put in the show notes, the Haven Health Summit and the active health and wellness community that Haven has. So Beth, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being a partner in shining more lights brightly in this community. And it's going to be interesting to see where we go next.
Woohoo! Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Haven.
And that is another episode of the Haven Hubcast. If you like what you hear, we'd love it for you to make sure you're a subscriber, leave us a review, a thumbs up, and even consider spreading the message and sharing this podcast with someone you think might need to hear it.
Thanks for listening to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Haven is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. Haven is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the Haven community online at haven.com. That's HAYVN.com. Haven Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.